sure saw some cars today. So let's talk about those Formula One cars from 1960, what is it, 66 to 82?
66 to 85, almost 20 years.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it is 20 years.
And that was the time that you were in the business of doing the videos, right?
Yes. Well, we actually started the company in 81, and it ran until 1990 because I stuck Sharon with the job of doing it. And at one point, we were selling videotapes of a season highlight 16 race deal for $79.95 a tape. And then 5 years into it, Duke Marketing in England decided to start selling them for $14.95 a tape. So it was like the recession of '08, only in 2000. And our success had the dive ratio of a safe.
So how did that, oh, please go ahead.
John and I still had enough money to go to Montreal the next 12 years with all expenses paid out of our bank account.
Wow.
Which is good because we didn't have any money.
How'd that all start? Whose idea and how'd you get it going?
I said that we should call Bernie Ecclestone, who was the head of Formula One, and propose that he do a highlight tape series. So John wrote a letter to his number 2 guy, Alex Duffus Whitaker, and Whitaker said, "We beat you to the punch, and we sold it to MGM because they want to make a movie. But they're not going to make the movie." So I called Saul Melnick at MGM and said, "I understand you're not going to make the movie, so you shouldn't need a highlight tape, so we'd like to take it over." He said, "Well, I'll sell it to you." 1981, because after that we're not going to have any more tapes. We're not buying any more tapes. And so we paid him $20 a tape, sold them for $80. And I then had John contact Whitaker again and said, "What about 1982 and going forward?" And he said, "We're going to do it. Let me call you back." And he said, "We'll do it. We'll give it to you for $250,000 a year." But John and I couldn't buy a bag of donuts between us at that time. So I said, better yet, we'll put together a marketing plan. And I had a box designed, tape covers designed, and a plan that said we were going to go to X number of races in the United States, places like Laguna Seca, Formula One, and we were going to have a booth where we would sell the tapes. We'd advertise the tapes in Car and Driver, Road and Track, but we don't have $250,000. So 3 or 4 months later, we got the deal done with Whitaker for $5,000 a year.
Wow.
Which is still one of the best, if not only, sales I ever made in my life.
I guess so.
And it lasted for 15 years.
Wow. And who actually did the videos? Who shot them?
They did, and they put them on a 2-inch master, and they would send them to us. And we got a place, I think it was called Casablanca Video in the San Fernando Valley, to do $7 dubs for us.
Wow.
Then we had our own boxes made.
But the videos were produced by Formula One?
Yes,
okay.
And there were 16 races, and they were narrated by people like Jackie Stewart and others, and then professional announcers. And so we got Casablanca Video, and I carried the master to them, which weighed about 15 pounds, and we plugged it in, and there was the video, and it was gorgeous. It was 2 hours. We were all set to roll, and there were about 10 other television screens around the main screen where our video was playing. And I looked, and a nurse was blowing some guy, and I suddenly realized these people are in the porno video business. So I said to the guy, how can you be doing a race tape? And he said, well, we need to diversify because the porno video business isn't doing so great these days. So we worked with them for 15 years.
Wow.
And we never bought any porno tapes.
That's funny.
And then we went around the country, went to races.
So did you and John set up like the booths and
Yes.
some of the things you did?
Yeah, we did a thing with the Formula One Spectators Association, which was George Goad and Pam Lawson. And we created about a 12 by 8 backdrop of their stuff and our videos. And then we had a TV and we had videos out front. And we sold, one year we sold $100,000 worth of it.
Wow.
Just before everything disappeared.
Sure.
But we had a ball with it, and as a result, we wound up going to Montreal, whether it was John or Peter Remington and me, 24 years in a row. In addition to Monaco a couple of times, and various other races like Phoenix and Dallas, where Formula One made an appearance for a year or two.
Oh, yeah.
And because of our advertising campaign, people would pay $79.95 for the tape if they were Formula One fans, and if they weren't, they wouldn't even watch them if you gave them to them for $1.
Sure. That makes sense.
But our clientele was very interesting. Lots of young people, lots of attorneys, lots of doctors, lots of people you wouldn't know are interested in Formula One racing. Because Formula One is a true world championship. It now has 23 races a year. It appears in about 18 countries and is far, far bigger than it was back in 1982 when we started our business.
Yeah.
Because it was sold to Liberty Media, who've done a great job of marketing it across the world.
Mm-hmm.
And now we've got 3 races in the U.S., which is one in Austin, Texas, one in Miami, one in Las Vegas on the Strip, one in Mexico City, and then, of course, a bunch in Europe and a bunch in Asia and a bunch in the Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
So it's truly become world class.
Sure.
Except we're no longer in the business.
Yeah. Right.
However, all the races are covered on television, so we can record them.
Yeah.
And so can everybody else.
Right.
So that's how we did it.
Yeah. So it must have been nice to see those cars on the track today for the limited time they were on, that you were involved with to that degree back then.
I saw every one of those cars race. And as a matter of fact, there were 2 John Player specials in qualifying today of the 15 qualifying cars. One of which was Mario Andretti's World Championship car. And the other was another John Player special, which was, of course, Lotus, which was put together by Colin Chapman, who, by the way, I named my 3rd son Colin after Colin Chapman.
You mentioned something about meeting him.
Yeah, we were in Las Vegas, and I think it was '82. And I told him that I had named my son after him. And he said, "Where's the boy?" And I said, "Well, he's not here, sir." He said, "Well, bring the boy next year because I want to meet the boy." And then 3 months later, Colin had a massive heart attack and died. So we never got to pull that off.
Yeah.
But we had some grand, grand times. One night we were in Montreal. Graham Hill's son, Damon, walked into a place called the Beaux Esprits on Saint Denis Street. And the owner was Sylvie, the bartender was Raphael, and the lead singer was a guy named Lynch. and in walks Damon Hill. And it's the race weekend. And it's Thursday night, so it's not serious until Friday, Saturday. And I said, Sophie, champion du monde. And she went nuts. And his old entourage was treated by Sylvie.
How do you remember all those names?
I don't know. My brother used to call me flypaper brain.